Hey guys, it's Crystal, and I just wanted to give you all an update on my Camp NaNoWriMo status. I completed it, yay, and it was around 5,000 words, which is just what I expected. I used Evernote primarily to write up the draft of my outline. I anticipated that it would be around 21 chapters long. It is, and that's still kind of flexible because I don't normally stick to an outline so closely when I'm writing. I use it really as a guide, but in the act of writing, things evolve, new ideas come through, breakthroughs happen, and so I'm not a by the outline sort of a writer. I'm more of a use the outline as a guide and create my own world as I go kind of a writer. So I am definitely going to read through it, study it a little bit further, develop it further the closer I get to working on that draft, and as always, kind of like go back and fill in the gaps as I'm writing. As I do write, I tend to go back and edit my outlines and I call it post outlining. So the new nuances will come through. Maybe I've had some issues developing like a character's motivation or something, and that happens to be revealed to me in the writing or whatever. So I'll go back and just edit that outline. So my philosophy for outlining is use it as sort of like the backbone and structure of a novel, but not necessarily as like a roadmap that you have to stick to get to your destination. There are trails off to the sides and they happen. So that's what I use my outlines for. But it did come out to about 5,000 words, which I'm finding tends to be sort of like my outlining standard. In the previous outlines I've written, it usually comes out to around 5,000 words. So I guess in the way that novels are generally 50,000 words at least, for me, an outline tends to be about 5,000 words. Really arbitrary, but whatever. It's just how my writing tends to work out. I also wrote a few scenes just because they were the glimpses of the story that were already in my head and I wanted to get them down. Now, when I do that, I may not necessarily actually use that scene, but in writing a scene, in thinking of my characters in terms of like dialogue and setting and just action, sometimes that shows me where I need to go, gives me some of that extra little push that I need in order to figure out what makes somebody tick or what makes the story go a certain way, what really will lead to this one effect. Like, here's an idea and I need to figure out where it's going. So my writing in this stage is a little bit of everything. I developed some setting details, a lot of character details. I did create character profiles for the majority of the main characters, obviously protagonists, obviously antagonists, and the big ones, but also some of the side characters. In developing the outline, I came to realize that this is going to be different from anything I've written before. So my writing tends to be of the first person point of view or omniscient narration type of writing, third person through a person, like a point of view character. But this will be a multiple point of view story. It's definitely the way that I see this going. There are multiple characters that will need to tell this story. So it's going to be probably third person through various points of view, and that'll be different from anything I've written before. I've dabbled in a little bit of multiple character, but never to this extent. It won't be quite an epic, but it feels almost like an epic to me in my head. So we'll see how well that turns out. But first drafts are first drafts. They're shitty first drafts. That's just what you have to go with. So in November, I'll be working on my Camp NaNoWriMo outline and turning that into my NaNoWriMo novel. In the meantime, I am now doing the most terrifying thing to me, and that is sending my current draft to beta readers. It freaks me out. I can't, it just makes my heart pound just thinking of a reader reading it and giving me feedback. Even though I want this, I can take criticism, I've done it before. It's still so scary to give my writing to someone and have them get into my head, especially when it's somebody I know, which it is. So I have a in real life person reading it right now and an online person who had offered previously to read it, and I'm so grateful for her work and so thankful. So 2 people at least are reading it. One other person is a second time around reader, so she saw an earlier draft that I told her to stop reading because I knew what I needed to fix, and I said stop reading now. So she's reading now the draft that I edited, and I have a fourth person that I'm feeling out, so I'm trying to get at least 4 readers this time around. And then I already know what's wrong. It's something I know what's wrong in this draft, and it's something I've had a hard time figuring out in the drafting. I'm going to go back and read it myself while my readers are going through it. I like to do that because then when I read their feedback, I have read it myself and I can bring that critique in line with my personal critique of what's going on and do a comparison and develop the next draft. So there's one big issue that has been driving me crazy for the last few drafts, and I still haven't quite managed to make it work. So I'm definitely looking forward to that feedback in order to help me sort of figure out from a reader's perspective what I can do and compare it to what I'm thinking from a writer's perspective. So that's the benefit of getting betas or critique partners, is getting a reader's perspective on what you need to figure out to make your story work. So there's one big thing, obviously lots of little things that I still need to work on in the next draft, but yeah, that one is just, it's a big thorn in my side. I need to figure it out because it's a big factor in making the whole story work. So we'll see where that goes. That's the plan. So August is going to be a time of transition for me. I'm going to be reading through it, also betaing another person's novel and maybe another person's novel. So I may be betaing myself for 2 different novels and hopefully getting myself prepared for the next draft. My goal is to get through September and October writing draft 5 if I can get my feedback within that time frame, although I'm not stringent. Obviously betas are awesome, they do this willingly, it's a volunteer sort of a thing, so I don't ever expect like some very strict deadline with getting the feedback, but that's my idea. So work on the next draft from now until October, work on some summaries, work on a query draft, which I've already been working on. That was also part of my Camp NaNoWriMo goal, just to work on a query draft and try that out, see what it looks like, and just kind of have something that I can work out and flesh and polish as I go. Because yeah, the idea is to one day get this published. I do want to see this in print, so that's my goal. That's my life goal right there. Just putting it out there. Yeah, so that's the latest. I will probably do another writing update later this month. I'm trying to... Traffic. I hear it. Sorry. I'm in my room. It's late in the day, so there might be some traffic noises. But yeah, I'm gonna probably be doing more of these writing updates and just sharing some of my craft, a little bit of my process throughout the month, and hopefully that's of use to anyone out there who enjoys this. So please give this video a thumbs up or give a comment, a shout out, whatever. I love comments. So if you have any questions or concerns or whatever, post on the blog or in the YouTube comment box, since I do cross post these. And if you have anything you would like me to post about in the future, or any ideas regarding writing or my noveling or whatever, also post those. I am totally open to suggested videos and look forward to hearing from anyone who's out there. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.